John Erickson was offered payment for designing the monitor, he replied, "Nothing could induce me to accept any remuneration. It is my contribution to the glorious triumph which freed 4 million bondsmen."
This has been an American Minute with Bill Federer. For a free transcript, call American Minute at 1-888-USA-WORD.
VCY America presents Crosstalk, a nationwide call-in program discussing issues that have an effect on our families, our communities, our churches, our nation, and our world. Crosstalk, an opportunity for you to voice your concerns for biblical principles. And now live by satellite and around the world on the internet at vcyamerica.org. Here is today's Crosstalk.
And thank you for joining us on Crosstalk today. And friends, our program today was actually intended to air last Monday. The topic was, but due to the joint operation by the United States and Israel against Iran, we instead made our focus on that topic last Monday and several times last week. And there's so much more to be said about what's happening in Iran right now and the new leadership that's taking place for Iran. It's our plan to revisit this issue on tomorrow's broadcast with Dr. Richard Schmidt from Prophecy Focus Ministries. But there was an event at the White House on Monday, February 23rd. Now, this was the day before the State of the Union. The president had hosted an event at the White House, hosting many of the angel families. Now, these are individuals who lost loved ones that were victims of crimes committed by those who entered our country illegally. They were on U.S. soil illegally, crimes that never should have been committed. It was at this event, though, that President Trump signed a presidential proclamation that recognizes February 22nd as National Angel Family Day. Now, that day marked the second anniversary of the murder of Laken Riley, who was killed by one who was in our country illegally from Venezuela. But several angel families were at this event and also spoke. We don't have time to air the entire segment today, the entire event, but we've edited out many comments that was made by President Trump, but we have sought to include as many comments from the families as possible. These are words I believe every person in America needs to hear. So without further ado, I'd like to take you to the White House as this ceremony unfolded on February 23rd. Let's listen.
We gathered here today for a truly solemn occasion. Throughout this hall, I am joined by heartbroken Americans who have lost parents, siblings, children, grandchildren, and treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration led in by the past administration. Millions and millions of people from jails, millions and millions of people from countries that we don't want to know about. Drug dealers, murderers, 11,888 murderers were allowed into our country by the Biden administration. These are the angel families that we love, that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored, and I've seen it. When I first got involved with the angel families, I had a meeting. It was so sad. And they got up and spoke, and the media literally just turned off the cameras. They didn't want to hear them. It was my first glimpse as to what was happening. These are sick people that cover stories like that, or that don't cover them, which is worse. Everyone in this room not only suffered an infinite loss, they were the victims of politicians who put the comfort of foreign criminals before the safety of American citizens and American patriots. Their stories were censored and suppressed like maybe almost never before, so that the politicians could open our borders and allow our nation to be invaded. If we didn't win the election, our nation would right now be destroyed. But under the Trump administration, their suffering is forgotten no longer. In just a few moments, I officially sign a proclamation that I've been waiting to sign for a long time. including my first administration. There were so many different legal roadblocks. It was incredible. We got it done, and I'm doing it today. February 22nd is going to be National Angel Family Day. Very important. So many incredible family members and friends, parents and children. On February 22nd, 2 years ago, a brilliant 22-year-old nursing student named Laken Hope Riley went out for a run on a college campus in Georgia. Laken was viciously attacked, brutally beaten, and murdered by an illegal alien gang member who the last administration heartlessly released into our country. No problems. Let them in. They let in everybody. They didn't check anybody. They let in everybody. Among the first bills I signed into law after taking office last year was the Laken-Riley Act. I'm so proud of it. To ensure illegal alien criminals are rapidly removed from the United States of America, if that's okay with the media. That bill has already been really playing a big role in the life of our country. It's resulted in over 21,000 illegal alien arrests, 21,000. We're joined this morning by Laken's parents, who I have gotten to know. These are incredible people. And I want to ask Laken's mother, Allison, to please come forward and say a few words, please. Hi, Allison. Hi, sweetie.
Well, this is unexpected, but I think that a lot of people feel like that President Trump is maybe different than the version that I've gotten to know. And I just can't thank you enough. You have said from the beginning, literally the day after this happened, that you would not forget about Laken. You weren't president at that time, and you have not forgotten. You have fought a fight that most people would not want to have to fight. Most people wouldn't. They would just say it's just easier not to do this. And President Trump you are doing a thankless job that most people just wouldn't do. And I just can't thank you enough. There are just not enough words to say. Because if you've lived the nightmare that we have lived, you understand the importance of the job that he's doing and securing our nation and fighting for our families. Because this could be any family. This happened to my family. This could be any one of your families. And Laken was the most responsible, hardworking, kind, selfless, beautiful Christian. And she wasn't somebody that put herself in bad positions. She didn't make bad choices. She was just a good girl. And she just wanted to go for a run that morning after she'd gotten up at 4 o'clock the morning before to decorate her roommate's door for her birthday. And she did everything for everyone else. She expected nothing in return. She just wanted to be a good friend and a good sister and a good daughter and a hardworking nurse. She was working so hard for. And I'm beyond blessed and thankful that you're honoring not just Laken, because she's one in a ton of people that have suffered at the hands of illegal immigrants. She's not the only one. And so thank you for honoring all of them, not just Laken. And we're just beyond grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Thank you.
thank you very much. It's amazing, Allison. You have to go through this. Doesn't get that much easier, does it? Right? Even with time. It's been a while now, and it doesn't get that much easier. But I want to thank you for your incredible courage. We're all courageous in a sense. Everybody in this room is courageous. And we're willing to tell the story, and that I don't know why the news doesn't want to hear it. The Democrats don't want to hear it. The radical left, they don't want to hear it. What's not to hear? We want to stop murderers and criminals from coming into our country. I watched the mayor of Minneapolis. I watched these people saying, we want to protect murderers. I don't get it. Something's sick. They're sick. Can't have a country like that. So we appreciate the bravery of everybody in this room, actually. And Christy, I want to thank you, and I want to thank Tom in particular for, we have a border that's 100% closed now, 100%. So Lakin's story is even more tragic because her death was completely preventable. It shouldn't have happened. Guy should never have been here. Not only should her killer not have been released into our country in the first place, but he was released a second time after being arrested in New York City. Here today is a great gentleman, the police officer who arrested that illegal alien, only to watch him be set free to kill. I mean, he was arrested and they let him go free. They knew he was trouble, big trouble. Many of them are like that. They release him knowing it's going to kill again, but they released him and set him free to kill Lakin. So I'd like to have Ethan Carreri come up, please. He's a great, highly respected police officer, and you can explain what happened. Come on up. Thank you, Ethan. Thank you.
Mr. President, it's an honor to be here today, and it's an honor to be speaking with you guys. My name is Ethan Carreri. I'm a police officer in Palm Beach County, Florida, and a former New York City police officer. While serving the New York City Police Department, I personally arrested Jose Ibarra for endangering the welfare of a child. A few months later, I saw his face again in the news after he viciously murdered Laken Riley. I did my job. I put him in custody. The system failed. No detainer, no accountability, no deportation, and an innocent American life was taken. If you enter our country illegally, there will be consequences under this administration. The American citizens must always come first. To Laken Riley's family, your loss should have never happened. We owe it to you and every American family to enforce our laws, secure our border, and protect innocent lives. Mr. President, thank you so much for having me here today, and thank you for all you've done for our country. Thank you.
We're going to pause right here as we're coming upon a break, and we'll be entering into the second segment. Matter of fact, right as our opening music is happening on the break, we're going to start it because we've got multiple individuals that we are going to be hearing from in the next segment as well. But this is the Angel Family's Remembrance Ceremony that was held at the White House on February 23rd. This was a day before the State of the Union address, and President Trump signing a proclamation there at this event as well. So we'll be back in just 1 minute. You're listening to Crosstalk on the VCY American Network.
Back to Genesis with Dr. John Morris, president of the Institute for Creation Research. Dr. Morris, the age-old question, is it true that man evolved from the apes?
No, it is not, Chris. Humans were created separately. The animals, including the apes, were created after their kind, but humans were created in the image of God. Man is not related to the animals. But according to evolution, we are descended from the animals. It used to be thought that a rodent, a rat-like animal, was the common ancestor of all the mammals, but a recent study showed that the closest living relative of the common ancestor is the aardvark. How about that? We came from an aardvark. Chris, isn't it about time we recognize the evolutionary view as abject foolishness? Isn't it time we go back to Genesis and get it right?
If you'd like to go back to Genesis, you can find us on the web at www.icr.org. For the Institute for Creation Research, I'm Chris O'Brien. Thanks for tuning in.
Steve Ronnebeck was the father of 21-year-old Grant Ronnebeck. A beautiful guy who was shot and murdered by an illegal alien while he was working behind the counter of a convenience store in Arizona. He was working behind the counter. Steve, would you please come forward? We'll talk about your boy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good to see you. You know, I spent some time with President Trump in his first election. President Trump talked about Grant even before he was elected in 2016. And finally, we had hope. We had hope that it was going to end. I was just talking to Secretary Noem that we all sat around the table one day during one of our visits to Washington. And again, the word preventable came up. All these deaths at the hands of illegal immigrants are preventable. They could have been stopped. We could have done so much more, unfortunately, at the hands of an election that we question. Somebody took their foot off the brakes and put their foot on the accelerator to let these people into our country. And it wasn't just regular people. It was criminals. It was murderers, killers, rapists. And now today, we are finally going to see that somebody's going to remember all of our loved ones. They're going to remember the names, and they're going to remember what we've all been through. Thank you, Mr. President.
Also with us is Marie Vega, the mother of Javier Vega Jr., a retired U.S. Marine and Border Patrol agent, so respected, who was murdered in front of his family by two illegal aliens, bad ones, really bad ones. People you could look at them and you could say, trouble. Trying to steal his family's trucks. He wanted to take everything the family had, but the trucks in particular. Marie, please come forward. Thank you, darling.
President Trump, on behalf of my family and I, thank you for hosting this beautiful remembrance in honor of our loved ones who were killed by illegal aliens. As you said, August the 3rd, 2014, my husband Javier, my son, Marine and Border Patrol agent Javier Harvey Vega, his wife, two of his sons and a friend, and I were fishing in Santa Monica, Texas. Within minutes of settling in, we were ambushed by two illegal aliens with many priors. Without warning, they jumped out of their stolen vehicle with guns that were not supposed to be in their possession in an attempt to steal two four-wheel drive vehicles. While trying to defend us, Harvey was shot in the chest and killed. My husband, Javier Sr., was shot in the back. Remember, you all, children were there fishing with their friends, and they just kept shooting. You could hear the bullets just whizzing past you. Javier Sr. returned fire with this weapon, and I grabbed the AR that Harvey had attempted to defend us with, and I returned fire as well. Had we not fired back, they would have killed everyone there, including the children, so that there wouldn't be any witnesses. And they killed an amazing man, a loving and honorable dad and husband. Thank God we have you in office. Without you, America and the world would not know the consequences of open borders. Thank you for restoring law and order. Thank you for acknowledging us, the angel families. Every day I think of you and the heavy weight of a nation that you carry with you. I can't imagine what it must be like to wake up every morning, work so diligently amid attacks and resistance from the left, to deal with the craziness, the fraud, and the swamp. But you get it done day in and day out, all while finding solutions to making America great again. You absolutely amaze me. Please know that we see it, and we, the masses, your constituents, are behind you 100%. When you were elected the first time, for the first term as president, I remember saying to my boss, this is exactly what this country needed, a businessman. You did an outstanding job then, and although you were cheated out of the second term, by the way, you won that election as well, and we know it. I knew the third term was going to be epic, and here we are, mega. Before I end this, I have to share a sweet story with you about my daddy. He absolutely hated the way people treated you and attacked you. On your third run for office, he said to me, "Mijita," which means my little daughter in Spanish, "Can you check to see if I'm up to date and still registered to vote? We need to make sure President Trump gets into office." I said, "Of course, Daddy." And I did, and I checked, and he was registered to vote. We lost a great man, April the 3rd of 2025, and that would be my daddy. Again, thank you for everything. Thank you for backing Border Patrol and ICE and backing these families. Thank you so much. I love you.
So beautiful. You know, I was thinking as you were saying that running again for a third time after having gone through what we went through the second time, which was so horrible, so much cheating, so much deception and viciousness, and you could see what they were going to do. And I'm here now, and it's a much more powerful term than my second term would be. And much more powerful. And one of the reasons is everybody sees how bad they were. And I had to go through, and I still do, fake stories, fake polls. I mean, I had polls for the election that showed I was going to get swamped, and I won in a landslide. They were fake polls because polls are tough, you know, when you get a fake poll. I get them today. I saw one today that I'm at 40%. 40%. I'm not at 40%. I'm at much higher than that. I mean, I'd love to run against anybody. The real polls say you kill everybody. It wouldn't even be close. But you go through the fake polls, you go through the fake stories. And I said, you know, it was good because this is really a much more powerful term than I would have had if I had run, because it was just one of those things. There would be nothing to compare it to. And now they compare it to Biden and that horrible, horrible administration. And I mean it, it is more powerful. Our military is much more powerful. We rebuilt it mostly in the first term. Then they gave away a chunk of it. And as much as it was, it's very small relatively, Tom. But we gave it to the Taliban. Just walked out. We could have taken it with us. They said, oh, I think it's cheaper to leave the planes. Just put a little jet fuel and fly it to a neighbor or fly it right home. Sir, I think it's cheaper. I think we'll save money by leaving a $150 million jet on the runway. These people are crazy. But I said, and I've said to a lot of people, it's much better what happened. But not for you people, it's not. And then I go back and say, but I wish it didn't, because every one of your loved ones would be alive today. Everyone in this room, I think, maybe there's one where could have sneaked through during our term, but I don't think so. We had a very tough border. We had we solved it in 2016, and we had a very strong border. I would say nothing is as strong as what we have now, but we had a very strong border. We had a good border. We had a sane border. It was sane. But the thing I can't understand is why the press isn't more supportive. They're so dishonest. The stories, the polls, they polled you. They say, oh, the angel moms. I think the angel moms are the finest people I've met. I mean, the angel moms and families and dads, but these are unbelievable people. Why are they so angry with angel moms? They had their child killed. Stories that are so horrible I'm not going to mention. A couple of people are in the room. What they did with the child after they murdered the child. It's not even, and these people are actually on the side of the criminal. I don't get it, Tom. Someday you're going to explain it to me, but I don't think you can either. It's crazy. Laura Wilkerson is another American mom whose 18-year-old son, Joshua was horribly beaten, tortured, and murdered by an illegal alien who went totally crazy. And just went to school. And I'd like to ask Laura to come up and say a few words about Joshua. Please. Hi. Another one of my friends. One of my original friends, right?
Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Laura Wilkerson, and I want to thank everybody for their help in gathering us here, the American Border Story and the White House and all of your helpers. I thank you for that. I met a man about 11 years ago who was running for office, and he sat with us a couple of days, and he watched as the tears rolled down my face as I told him the story of how our youngest son Joshua was brutally beaten, tortured, strangled to death, and his body set on fire. The man next to me was President Trump. He never, ever looked away from my pain. He looked me straight in the eye, and he said, "I will never forget the story of your sweet son, and I will never give up fighting for the American family." I looked at him and I believed him. And here we are these years later, and you can tell all of the work he's done. He's never missed a day of fighting for the American family. I don't know if I've ever met a man who is more interested in this country and running this country and getting it back in shape. And I'm so grateful for what he does every single day. I can't even pretend to understand the spiritual battles that swirl around the office of the presidency and the man who owns that office. I would ask that God breathe a fresh breath of air through this administration so that he can calm those spiritual battles and allow our president to continue to do the hard work. Jesus works on my family every day, still healing us today. And I am just so incredibly grateful for the man who's in office, who never quits. He is sidelined so many times, but we know the man, Jesus, who can take care of that. And we pray today in his name that he will sweep through this country and make it right again. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Well, friends, you're listening to excerpts coming from the White House as President Trump declared a National Angel Family Day. This event at the White House held just the day before State of the Union address. We had intended to air this last Monday, but due to the situation with Iran, delayed until today. Friends, I hope you hear how important it is for every American to hear these stories. Major media is not getting this out. You need to hear them. And I've got some more to share. A very sobering segment coming up next. You're listening to Crosstalk.
Proverbs 21 verse 1 says,
"The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will."
Just as God worked through the kings in Israel, so he also works through the leaders of human government in countries around the world, including the U.S. In the book, Presidents, Politics, and Prophecy, author Richard Schmidt has transcribed and expanded intriguing lectures from Dr. Jimmy DeYoung Sr. You'll see how God has worked through world powers in the past to accomplish his plan and purpose for today and the future. With a review of each of the U.S. presidents from Jimmy Carter to Donald Trump, you'll find key initiatives that have prepared the world for things to come. VCY has made available Presidents, Politics, and Prophecy for a donation of $18. Call 1-800-729-9829.
This is Crosstalk on VCY America and airing excerpts. The ceremony was longer. I think we've gotten in the Angel family members speaking. We have one more segment we're going to be airing for you. But this event for angel families, and again, angel family refers to families who lost loved ones as a result of crimes committed by those who are here illegally, present in our country unlawfully. And President Trump had this special ceremony, a remembrance ceremony, and even signed a proclamation. As a matter of fact, in this last segment, you're going to hear a gentleman by the name of Jody Jones who is going to speak. They do have, and we're not able to air the audio for this because there's nothing really happening, but he signs a proclamation for the National Angel Family Day, marking the second anniversary of the death of Laken Riley. And then there is a lighting of a candle and a very sobering reading of names of lives who have been taken by illegal aliens. And that is going to be concluded then with the song Amazing Grace. So let's go right back to the White House, and we're going to be hearing that segment on Crosstalk. Our last segment will give you opportunity to call in and share your thoughts on the matter. Let's continue now by going back to the White House.
Jody Jones is a loving brother whose cherished sibling Rocky was killed by an illegal alien real monster, who went on a deranged crime spree after being released from prison as part of a California sanctuary city policy. Jody, please come up. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Well, I have this speech, but I'm not going to give it. What I'm going to tell you is from my heart. I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, first of all, before I do anything. I want to thank the American Border Story, and I absolutely want to thank President Donald J. Trump. Thank you, sir, for putting America first and putting these angel families first and letting everybody know their stories, because we matter. Thank you, sir. My brother Rocky Jones was murdered by a criminal illegal alien. He was simply at the wrong place at the wrong time. This man was arrested, released, and within 24 hours, he went on a shooting spree in Central California. Unfortunately, my brother was in the wrong place at the wrong time. This man shot my brother 8 times at point-blank range. I pray that no other family has to go through that. Unfortunately, they will. And just know, President Trump, I want you to know, no matter what the fake media says about you, the American people love you, and we will support you all the time, because we love you. I'm sick and tired of hearing these Democratic politicians stand up on these podiums and say how sorry they are for seeing these criminal illegal aliens being ripped apart from their families. What about us? What about the American family? What about us? We mean something too. And this man right here understands it. I was listening to Grandma Cook, and she said thank you to President Trump. And I love that lady. I don't even know her. I just heard her. I just got the fire inside of me. I'm like, wow, that's an American. I love America. I want you guys to understand this. Americans are not racist. We're not xenophobic because we want a safe America and we want to put Americans first. This man's not racist because he wants to put Americans first. Are you kidding me? I know you guys hear it all the time, but we are not. And I'm going to tell you something. I love America. I love Donald Trump. I love my family, and by gosh, I love America. Thank you very much, Donald Trump. President Trump, you are the man. You are the man. I want to say this. I'm going to end here. I want to say this. I love my country. God bless you. God bless Donald Trump. And God bless America.
This is the lighting of the candle and then the names.
We will now light a candle in honor of the victims in solidarity with their families. Following the lighting of the candle, the names of the victims will be read aloud so that their memory may be honored.
Katie Abraham, Chad Eistrup, Austin Babcock, Megan Elizabeth Ida Boz, Jesse Bird, Liam Cantu, Michael Clayton, Gail Clayton, Sander Cohen, Pierce Corcoran, Ronald De Silva, Jackson Davis, Christopher James De Leon, Joseph Di Tommaso, Marshall Dova, Brady English, Shaylee Estes, Lacey Marie Ferguson, Maura Garrity, Tristan Gray, Kayla Hamilton, Aaron Joshua Hampton, Brady Heiling, Susan Hine, Haley Helgeson, Kyler Holbein, Gregory Hamala, Gabriel Kaleshi Isiguzo Jr., Rocky Paul Jones, Shane Jones, Stephanie Kaufman, Haley King, Amy Courtlang, Ryan White, Brian Moss, Robert Mopin, Lisbeth Medina, Brandon Mendoza, Brandon Michael, Dominic Montoya, Jonathan Moody Jr., Reuben Morfin, Rachel Morin, Krisha Odette, Nicolay Osokin, Rocco Pitro, Lakin Riley, Grant Ronnebeck, Matthew Russell, Kayla Santiago, Danielle Nikki Shermock, Fred Schlosser. Tierra Stansbury. Kate Steinley. Joseph Story. Timmy Tarnowski. Brian Terry. Anya Varfolomeyev. Javier Vega Jr. Joshua Aaron Wilkerson. Carlos Wolf. Joseph Zhang Jr.
Friends, you're listening to a special Crosstalk today here on VCY America. That ceremony taking place at the White House to remember angel families, National Angel Family Day, a proclamation signed by President Trump to remember and honor the thousands of American lives stolen from us by criminal illegal aliens and the deadly drugs they bring across our borders. That held at the White House, and friends, the reading of the names, some 62 were read at the White House event, names that many of us have never heard before, never told us their stories in the media. We're opening our phone lines on Crosstalk. If you would like to respond briefly to what you've heard today on the broadcast, our number is 1-800-733-9829. 800-733-9829. So sad that the protests in streets across the country trying to protect the murderers who have taken these precious lives.
For the Worldview Report, I'm Brandon House. Our website's worldviewtube.com. Worldviewtube.com. Iran, they have a few advantages on their side, 3 of them in this war. Eschatology, their end-time beliefs, their topography, the mountains that help act as a natural fortress for Iran, and then they have their geography. They have the Strait of Hormuz and another very important strait from which we have a lot of energy and trade going through. So we need to be very sober about what's happening in the Middle East with Israel and America going against Iran. We certainly hope that we see great success by Israel and America. But Americans need to understand that this is really a worldview war. Just take, for instance, the eschatology. The Shiites believe in a 12th imam, their savior, their Messiah, that will come through what? Chaos and jihad. So again, it all comes down, at the end of the day, once again, to a spiritual battle and worldview. I'm Brandon House.
You're listening to Crosstalk on VCY America, and you've heard audio from the White House as it relates to the National Angel Family Day proclamation that is by President Donald Trump. And I'd like to get your reaction to what you've heard today. Stories that you've not heard before, names you've not heard before, the heartache you've not heard from before. And our number to Crosstalk, 800-733-9829. That's 1-800-733-9829. The National Angel Day there, February 22nd, is the second anniversary of the murder of 22-year-old nursing student Laken Riley on a Georgia University campus by Venezuelan national Jose Antonio Ibarra in February of 2024. And certainly a tragedy that happened then and continues to unfold across this country as criminal aliens continuing to be released on the streets in sanctuary cities, and states are putting them right back on the streets to commit atrocities all over again. Immigration and Customs Enforcement looking for detainers on individuals, and there are cities, municipalities, and states that have barred them from being turned over for even deportation. Our number to Crosstalk, 800-733-9829. We begin with William in Florence, Kentucky. William, you're on the air.
Hello, Jim. I really like your program, and I just want to make this real fast. I believe the Democrats should not be a party anymore. With all the garbage that they have done with abortion and all these illegals and all this fraud and all these things, American people need to grow up and wake up and all that. And the Democrat Party is not for our country. You know, they're got the government shut down and everything, Brother Jim, and that's just what I want to say. I don't believe that the Democrats should be in part. They got blood on their hands, and they're ashamed. They shouldn't be Americans. I mean, they're not Americans. That's all I want to say, brother. God bless you.
Thank you for your comments here today. Let's go next to Hilda in Arizona. Hilda, you're on the air.
Hi. Yes, I want to say that all my family are Democrats, but I cannot vote because of my past, but I stand firmly with Donald Trump because I understand the pain of families as well as illegal immigrants who come here and commit crimes. And my family, they turn on me because I stand firm with Donald Trump. I appreciate him, and I want to thank him that he has made this country safer for my grandchildren and for many generations to come. God bless him. God bless America. And thank you.
Thank you, Hilda. Well, let's go to Tennessee next. Merle is calling. And Merle, you're on the air.
Jim, anybody that allowed this to happen, anybody involved, is complicit to murder. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Merle. Our number to Crosstalk is 800-733-9829, 1-800-733-9829. Lee is next in Hartford. You're on the air, Lee.
Hi, Jim. Yeah, I just want to say that they keep talking about fixing our immigration system and that it's broken and and that's why all this is happening. But you know what? We have a very good immigration system. The problem is we have these people in positions of authority that are lawless, whether they're judges or governors or whatever. They're lawless people, and they're not holding to the good immigration policies that we already have, and that's why these things are happening. And it just breaks my heart listening to these stories.
Yeah.
Because I have children too, and it just breaks my heart.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Lee, for the call. Let's go next to Wayne in Pasco, Washington. You're on the air, Wayne.
Yes, I listened to the ceremony on your program today, and we honor the victims of these criminal illegal aliens, their relatives. And it's really important in this off-year election year, that we, in the primaries that are coming up in all our states, that we vote for conservative people that want to protect our borders, protect American citizens, and that'll allow, if we keep the House and the Senate, President Trump to do even more to protect American citizens. And, so I urge people to pray for the families of the victims of these illegal aliens, and also to vote conservatively.
Thank you, Wayne, for your thoughts. Dr. Malcolm in Florida, you're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you again for telling the truth about President Trump. But to put things in a clear perspective, if people would read The Naked Communist by Cleon Skousen, the 2017 edition, they would know who the Democrats are. They are completely communistic. The sanctuary cities are communistic. The press is communistic. And that's why Donald Trump married the wrong person, drives the wrong car, lives in the wrong house. Nothing positive is said about Donald Trump by the press. Why? They are communist infiltrated. Indeed, my profession has been infiltrated the same way. So it's critical that people understand who Trump is. He is the savior of this country, a strong Christian. Thank God we have him. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. And again, only Jesus is the savior. But certainly we see people who are put into places of authority, and we need to pray for those that are in authority, do we not? Let's go to Jim in Wisconsin. You're on the air.
Oh, Brother Jim, I just want to thank you personally so much for even airing this program. This would probably be the only place we could hear something like this.
Yeah.
And the information is like, I'm going to try to take this information and really get it out there and say, they're not funding the DHS right now. And like the people said your previous callers, the Democrat Party, there's no reason why they should even be in government. They are completely treasonous to our country. And we need to we got an election coming up. People need to know who they're voting for and what they're voting for. So thank you so much for doing this, sir. I really appreciate that. God bless you.
Thank you, Jim, for your call. And again, such a momentous event that happened at the White House, wanted to share with you. And in that proclamation, it says in part, a nation without strong borders is not truly a nation, and a people without justice can never be fully free. We renew our duty to uphold the rule of law, to secure our borders, and deliver accountability for every American killed by illegal aliens and for every angel family forced to carry the unimaginable loss. We will never forget the victims. We stand with the families who endure this permanent hole in their lives, and we will never stop fighting to protect our people and our homeland. That's said in the proclamation issued by President Donald Trump. God bless you, friends. Thanks for joining us today on Crosstalk.
You've been listening to Crosstalk via satellite and the internet from VCY America. Views expressed may or may not be those of this station. For a CD of today's program, send a donation of $6 or more to VCY Tape Ministry, 3434 West Kilbourne Avenue, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53208, or download by RSS or podcast from crosstalkamerica.com. And join us again for Crosstalk.